Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a look at the NECA action figure of Super Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. Here's a look at the inside flap. You know, NECA really is doing the Lord's work over there by creating these glorious action figures based on the live-action 90s Ninja Turtles movies. And probably one of the most dynamic figures they've made has got to be this Super Shredder. Here it is next to Raph, just so you can see how tall it is. Much like how he towers over the turtles themselves at the end of the movie. Now, one of the things that's always cracked me up about the Super Shredder was the fact that his muscles were painted onto his costume in the movie. So if you're looking at the paint on this and thinking it looks a little bit cartoony, that's actually pretty accurate to how he looked in the movie. But the actual sculpt of the muscles on this is pretty rad. You could just see even just the way the fabric is being like pinched and pulled between his pecs, but the abs, the biceps, these meaty thighs, there's a lot of strong muscle definition. Cartoonishly so, but he is mutated, what do you want? And then you get to the armor itself, which is super exaggerated, just like how it is in the movie. For some reason, if you drink mutagen, not only does your body change, but your costume and armor changes too. It made no sense to me when I was a kid, and doesn't make any sense to me as an adult now, but the sculpt on his feet is good. The sculpt on all the blades, it's just great. All these jagged edges on top of the blades, especially when you get to the shoulders. I love all the jagged edges. His little shoulder sections look good. The little darkened spots within the little metal edges look good. I think they got a little, maybe heavy-handed with these little silver lines on the shoulders, but it still looks cool. The helmet sculpt is frickin' gnarly. Looks great, just like how it did in the movie, and I love these jagged edges here. I love the actual main part of the helmet there. Now, I don't normally like soft goods on my plastic action figures, but in this case, I think the cloth cape does look really good. First of all, it's not made out of like a cheap fabric, so it doesn't lay weird, it doesn't get all puffy, and I think it looks good in contrast to the rest of the figure. Now, one little nitpick I have is that the helmet is bent. You can see right back here the way it kind of curves down, and that's because the way that this figure was placed in the packaging was incorrect, and it bent it in the packaging, and it got kind of warped that way. It's the sort of thing that I would have looked for if I was hunting for this in person, but I didn't hunt for this in person at Walmart because COVID. So I do appreciate that NECA made this figure available online, but I am bummed that my helmet is warped. Articulation on this figure is decent. I have seen some other NECA figures with a little more articulation, but I do think some of the muscle definition here does limit that. Not necessarily a bad thing, but like this bicep. You can't really put a bicep cut in there. There is double elbow joints. My right arm's bottom joint is really stiff. But here's a look at the left arm, pretty good range of motion. The forearms have a rotation. You have a hinge swiveling elbow joint, hinge swiveling ankle joint, double knee joints, the ball hinge legs, ball hinge shoulder. There's, I think it's a ball joint or twist at the waist. The mid-torso, it has an interesting sense of motion, but the one thing it can't do is like crunch forward. That's like the one thing I really want it to do. Lastly, the head. Great range of motion at the base of the neck, very little range of motion at the top of the head. Good thing that the neck moves so far forward, otherwise the head wouldn't really be able to do much. This figure comes with a few accessories, including these open palm hands. We also get these grip hands, and we also have this like wide grip hand. This wide grip hand is for gripping this canister of Ooze. It's got the TGRI logo from the second movie. One fun thing, though, is that Super Shredder never grips this canister of Ooze, like Shredder does. Then Keno kicks it out of his hand. But Super Shredder, I don't know, it's presumed he drank that little vial, but you never see him hold this ever. Also, he comes with this staff, which is neat. I don't recall Super Shredder using a staff. Just his fisticuffs to, like, knock down the dock posts. But it's a long staff. I was going to switch out the hands for this review, but the fist hands here, the wrist joints are really tight, and I'm having a hard time switching the hands out. Oh well, I still like these fist hands, considering that's what he uses to do some damage in the movie. I both love Super Shredder ironically and unironically. Unironically because I love the design of him, but ironically because he's big, he doesn't do much, and he kills himself by knocking down a dock onto himself. But I do love him as the final boss in the NES game Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, The Manhattan Project. So yeah, I have an affinity for Super Shredder, and I love seeing him on the tabletop. I think he looks really, really cool. I'm really happy that NECA made him. So there you go. I like it a lot. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this, and if you want, you can click subscribe to be up to date with my latest figure reviews. Thanks for watching.